Alright, yo guys, what's up? My name is Junior Senpai. Welcome to Senpai FGC. As you guys can see, we're playing some Dragon Ball Fighterz today. I'm not going to be doing matches. This is a bit of a different video. This is going to be me kind of teaching some basics or kind of helping you understand some concepts that might help you along your way as a beginner or a freshman player. Pretty much how this video sprouted was I asked my friend Vincent if he would like me to make a video going over some things that might help him along his way, and he said yes. So that's kind of how this video is coming into fruition. The first thing I want to talk about, which is pretty major, is movement. Movement is very key in this game. Knowing your options of how to move in and out of certain situations is very important. If that wasn't obvious, it's important in a lot of fighting games, so obviously it's going to be important in this one. Pretty much the most basic movement is you have your walk forward, your walk back, you have your dash forward, you have your dash back, you have the ability to jump. Crouch, I guess, is a form of movement in a sense, I suppose. You have super dash, which is important. You have your abilities, which is a form of movement, however you want to see it. You also have vanish, which is, I think, more as a defensive option, but you have that as well. And then you have instant air dash, you have regular air dash. Like, it's all movement. It's all things that you want to get comfortable with to kind of help you get on your way. Some good fundamentals to know and know well. So, like I said, you have your walk, you have your dash, you have your back walk, you have your back dash, you have your air dash, you have your instant air dash, you have double jump. So if you think about it, you have two jumps. So you have a jump, you have a jump and air dash, but you cannot double jump and air dash. It's not allowed. Fuck that shit. You can, however, double jump and super dash. Super dash in the low levels you're going to be seeing a lot of. You're going to see super dash, you're going to see jump super dash, you're going to see double jump super dash, you're going to see super dash point blank, you're going to see super dash full screen. You're just going to see it all. Knowing how to punish that is very important. Punishing movement is very important as well. So if I'm just super dashing left and right, or my opponent is super dashing left and right, you can punish that with a down heavy. You can also punish vanish with down heavy as well, and I'll be showcasing that in a second. So if I record Krillin doing a super dash, and I'm tired of Krillin's shit, and I'm tired of him doing super dash nonstop, I can punish it with down heavy and get a little bit of a combo off it if I don't drop it, that is. And like I said, these are all applicable to anything you play on, whether that's pad or stick or hitbox or whatever. It's obviously tied to the game. So now, same thing. If I record Krillin doing a vanish, and I'm tired of him vanishing nonstop, I can punish that with down heavy as well. Bam. Just like that. Beautiful. Nice punish. And let's say you can't quite react to that vanish as well. I'll talk about that in a second, but let me finish covering movement fully first, and we'll get there. So like I said, you have an air dash to manage, you have an instant air dash to manage as well. Instant air dash is pretty good, and same with air dash as well. They're both pretty good to apply pressure in different types. So let's say my opponent is not blocking me. Let's get Trunks in.
This is it.
So let's say I just did this level 3 and my opponent has to defend the wake-up game. They have to defend my offensive pressure. Air dash is very important, and instant air dash is very important for applying that pressure upon wake-up. So why instant air dash or air dash are important is, like I said, it's a threat. If I instant air dash and heavy, that's going to be a hit overhead. So if I do an overhead, he'll have to guard standing. If he's not guarding standing, he's going to get hit. So yeah, if he's only guarding low, he's going to get hit by the overhead essentially. And then I get a little bit of a full combo. Obviously the same thing can be applied with just a basic air dash. But obviously instant air dash is a little bit faster. It's kind of harder to react to. This can be mixed as well. So obviously, instead of going with the instant air dash and heavy, I could go with medium. I can not hit with a light, but I'm sure some characters can. But instead of just going high, you can go low. So if I instant air dash and I'm constantly doing instant air dash heavy and he keeps getting hit, he might adapt to it. So I can mix it up and go low instead. And get, obviously if it hits, a little bit of a combo, and then we're chilling. Obviously there's a bigger threat as well. You can empty jump, Dragon Rush, which is a threat as well. You can empty jump, jab, Dragon Rush, which is now the tick throw option that we have in Season 3. And then jab, Dragon Rush, tick throw. The same can be applied for overhead. If they do block the overhead, if I can actually do it, overhead, jab, Dragon Rush, tick throw. It's a great way to keep mixing up your pressure in the corner. There is a lot to that, and obviously you could do the same thing with just basic, you know, air dash pressure. The same can be done. Jab, Dragon Rush, tick throw. If I air dash and heavy and jab and Dragon Rush, it'll come out, but sometimes the jab doesn't want to come out. Bam, like right there. That's a perfect example. You can do it with air dash as well. It's all applicable. That's kind of the basics of understanding your movement. And just get comfortable with moving around the stage. Get comfortable with how far you move, how fast you move. Things of that nature, just get comfortable. Alright, moving on, we have mashing. Chances are in the low levels, you'll find people mashing all over the place. Knowing how to punish that is pretty important. There are some kind of more technical ways to punish it, but I'll give you kind of some basics. So I'm going to record Krillin just mashing willy-nilly, just going crazy. If he's just going wild, and he's not going to stop going wild anytime soon, I can jump super dash and punish that and get a little bit of a full combo off of Vanish. So now, let's say I'm kind of tired of his shit and he's just going to keep on mashing. I don't know how to deal with it. Reflect is an option as well. Bam, I just reflected his second air quote string and got a little bit of a punish out of that. That was pretty good. Yeah, you're gonna see it a lot. So I believe I covered super dash and punishing that with 2H. Yeah, the same can be done with Vanish. So I'll give you guys an example of super dash. So he's gonna super dash. If he does it again, bam, down heavy, sick. Same, like I said, can be done with Vanish. So if my opponent's vanishing nonstop and I'm tired of his shit, I can punish that as well. With down heavy. So let's say you don't have the reactions exactly to punish Vanish with down heavy. There is another option as well. If your opponent vanishes and mashes every time after, you can do something a little bit more cheeky. You can actually punish it by reflecting. So what I mean by that is after they vanish and you block the vanish, you reflect right after if you know that they're going to mash, and then you kind of go low or use whatever option you want to kind of counterattack them. So giving an example like that, we're going to have Krillin vanish and then mash right after. And then we're going to have him do it to us. And then we're going to block the first hit, mash, our reflect pretty much through a string before a string happens. And then we can get kind of a little punish. So let's try that again. And then we'll do like a heavy or something. Bam, there's a perfect example. So if you know your opponent is going to vanish a lot and you can't quite react to it, there is a way to kind of get around that as well. So something else to punish mashing as well is leaving a gap. This is slightly more advanced. It's not crazy hard. So I'm going to record Krillin just mashing away like before. Beautiful. And a lot of people aren't going to want to respect your block strings in the lower ranks. They're going to want to mash through your strings when you're done. So you can't do anything tricky with them. So the best way to deal with that is leaving a gap. So what I mean by that is just kind of spacing out how you do your strings. So if I do light, light, medium, and then heavy, there was a slight gap between that medium and heavy. It's still technically a true block string, but I believe it's called a frame trap, or, you know, just leaving a gap to bait their buttons coming out. So if I do this fast, Krillin's lights won't come out. So if I do light, light, medium, heavy, there's no gap right there. He didn't push out anything, but if I leave a small gap, it'll bait his buttons out if he's mashing constantly. So let's try that again. So light, light, medium, heavy. See, I left the gap between the light and the medium. Obviously, the same applies for the light and the heavy. That's why I got hit there. The computer is set to block all, but I set it to pretty much if there's an opening for him to mash. Light, light, medium, heavy. So I left a little bit of a gap there. That's why he got hit. So if you know your opponent's going to mash, that's a good way to bait out their buttons. That's a good way to get a little bit of a punish for them mashing constantly. And you can get a full combo off that. Obviously, looping back, if I haven't already said this, you use your spacing. Like, use your ability to know how far your opponent's going to go. So he stopped right there. I can faithfully guess that he'll stop right there again and go for a punish. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about combos. There are all kinds of flavors of combos. You guys can see combo videos all over the internet that are pretty crazy, but I'm pretty much just going to be giving you the basic of the basics. There are some slightly more advanced versions of this, like you know, you can do all kinds of crazy shit, but a very basic one is, and I'm starting with down medium, and then standing medium, which is just medium, like you don't press anything else. So down medium, medium, and then your opponent will kind of be sent in a state of being in the air after that. So dun, dun, he's kind of in the air right there. I can jump and meet him in the air, and then I can continue the combo. So if I do down medium, standing medium, jump, and then I hit light medium, I'll get kind of an extension of that. And as you guys know, you have 2 jumps total. So that kind of works into your combos as well. So if I do down medium, standing medium, jump, light medium, that extends the combo. I can jump once more after that and do another light medium repetition. So down medium, standing medium, light medium, bam, the combo keeps going. Obviously there's jumps in between those, like those lights and mediums. So down medium, standing medium, and then jump, medium with light medium, jump again, light medium. And then you can continue the combo further with down heavy. So I'll give you guys an example of that. Bam, the combo keeps going. You can follow that up with a super dash. So I'll give you guys an example of that. Bam, super dash. I met him there. I can keep the combo going. The easiest way is just to mash light after that super dash. So, an example of that. I'm just mashing light to finish the combo off. Bam, and I get sliding knockdown, which is very good. I can combo a super after that. So now I'll give you guys an example of that. Bam, I can go into my level 1, I can Z-change, I can ultimate Z-change in trunks, like it's all good. That's like a chunk of damage for a pretty simple combo right there. It is scaled because I had a medium starter, so if I start the combo a little bit before that down medium, I can mix in some lights. So if I do 2 lights, I can get a down medium after that. And then boom, your combo is the same again. After you get to that down medium, it just goes back to what you already know. So light, light, down medium, your combo starts. So an example of that is this. And just mash square again after the down heavy. Call in my supers. Call Bardock in for the ultimate Z change, and I miss. That's cool too. Let's try that again with Bardock. So as you guys can see, the combo was scaled a little bit more. You saw the combo damage at 6,300, and then max combo damage, which was a combo I had prior, of 7,000 damage and 69. Haha. That's because how you start a combo depends on the scaling of the combo. So because I started that combo, that second one, with lights, it scaled it to a light starter. Because I started the first one with a down medium or a 2M, it scaled it to a 2M, which it will do more damage essentially. I know that might be a bit advanced, but obviously either of those combo options are very good. They got decent damage out, so that's pretty solid. There are ways to change things up in your combo, or like slightly optimize the damage a bit more. So instead of meeting your opponent in the air with a light medium, you can meet your opponent in the air with a medium and then tap light twice. So an example of that is like this. You saw how I got those 2 jabs in the air after the medium? That's kind of an element. If your first meeting with your opponent is with a medium, you can mash in 2 lights really quick. So this can obviously be jump canceled as well. So if I do light, I can jump cancel right there and get 2 more lights if I meet them with a medium. I can also meet them with a light medium as well. It's a different way of going about things. Not every character has this ability to do this. There are certain characters on the cast that do. There are certain characters on the cast that do not. I believe Bardock is an example of that. So if I try to meet him with light, or if I try to meet him in the air with medium, I don't get that same thing that Goku gets. For me, it's better to meet them in the air with light and then hold medium. See how he got that double kick there? Every character is slightly different, but Goku and Trunks, they have that in common. There are a lot of characters that have this ability, so I can meet him with medium in the air and get him 2 lights. So let me show you guys that again. I get those 2 lights. Once again, that can be jump canceled. And then I get my down heavy. And then you just do the combo like normal after you're down heavy. And then I just mash light. And then I get sliding knockdown again. I can go into my supers. So obviously things can end a little bit differently if you want to end things with a special move instead. Goku's a pretty good example of that. So I'll do a basic combo ending with a special move. So down medium, light medium, light medium, light, and then if I time my lights, I can throw a key blast and end with a special move. I'm going to end with EX dive kick, which is quarter circle back and heavy, in the air specifically. So if I do a basic combo, get Krillin in the air, mash some lights, and then do it actually on time, I'll get a little bit of a combo, leading Krillin into a sliding knockdown state, like that. And then I can do my super, do another super, I can ultimate Z change. It's all good. Like, it's not that hard once you get used to things. It's just a matter of getting comfortable with the timing. Obviously, like I said, Trunks gets something similar to Goku, so I got those 2 jabs in the air. Those can be jump canceled, down heavy. Trunks gets some different stuff because I know his supers are a bit different. But something else to get used to is comboing off your assists, which in this game is very important to kind of advancing into those further levels and higher damage in your combos. One of my favorite assists to combo off of is actually Blue Goku Assist B, which is his tackle. And I'm going to show you guys a little example of that. It's not the hardest thing ever. I did mistime it there, though. Bam. Krillin kind of got bounced by his tackle there. I did drop it, however. But you guys can do some pretty crazy stuff off that. And yeah, you can continue your combos and get creative with your combos. Obviously, you can combo off of different stuff as well. You can combo off of Trunks' beam, which I have set to him, which is also his assist B. You can combo his beam from pretty high up and get a little something extra off that. That was one of my B&B combos way back when. And yeah, you guys can get really creative with this game and just mixing in your timing. There is such a thing as too much, or pretty much if your opponent is getting hit too much by your combo or your combo is too long, they will fall out of your combo. Your combo can't be that crazy long or your opponent will fall out. There are obviously ways, as you've probably seen on the internet, to do touch of death combos, which if you know the right mechanics of how to work your combo out, you can kill with a single combo, which is pretty crazy. It does get pretty wild, but that's kind of the basics of getting started with slightly more advanced combos. Now another thing to talk about, kind of related to comboing, is Vanish. Vanish is pretty important. It's a good defensive tool in the lower levels, but you don't want to abuse it a lot. You can use it in the higher levels as well. Just knowing when to use it is optimal. So if you're stuck in the corner and your opponent's just pressuring you and you don't know what to do, you can kind of vanish to get out, or you can jump vanish. It's all applicable. But obviously you get some combo potential off of vanish as well. So if you hit your opponent and vanish right after, you get a little wall bounce like that. It doesn't matter, I don't think, what you connect with, unless it's an assist. You cannot get a wall bounce off of an assist. It just doesn't work like that. So same thing with Bardock. Bam, no wall bounce. It has to be from the character you're controlling. So this can obviously be the same for your combos as well. If, let's say you're side switched with your opponent, you feel like getting them in the corner, which is very good, you can do a little combo and follow it up with a vanish. You get a wall bounce, you can go into Dragon Rush. Something new to Season 3 is you can actually super dash after vanish and get something a little bit different now. It is pretty cool. It is a new addition. I don't use it a whole lot, but it is a useful addition for all kinds of different combos or characters. Like some characters this is very, very good for because some characters don't have a traditional 2H in the air. So this kind of helps them in some facets. I know it does suck to spend a bar to extend your combo, but sometimes if you're down to your last character, it's pretty necessary. So it's something to consider as well. Like I said, Vanish can be punished with down heavy, but it is also something to be kind of... It can be very much abused because Vanish has plus frames to it. Pretty much, to explain it the simplest way possible, if you vanish and your opponent and myself try to mash, because I have plus frames because of that vanish connected to your guard, my attacks will hit first. So I will have Krillin in a guard all state. So if I vanish and we both mash, my mash is going to come out first. See how he got hit there? And bam, I can get a full combo off that. It's something to take note of. It is pretty useful to know. Alright, the last thing I want to talk about is your defensive options. There are a whole bunch to take note of. One of them being Vanish, Reflect, another being Sparking, and then of course just your basic guarding as well. It's good to know. There are kind of some other ones, but these are kind of your basic options. Alright, so there is actually one thing I did forget to cover, which is guard cancel. It is a very good defensive option. It's a good option for breaking people's strings and getting pressure off of you. It comes out much like a reflect or a vanish when there is a gap in strings, and pretty much what you have to do is go from a blocking state to a forward state plus assist. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to record Krillin doing a string, and it'll have a gap in that string, and we're going to try to get guard cancel to come out. Alright, so we have our string. That's good. There was a gap in there, so guard cancel should theoretically be able to come out. Just like that. So we went from guarding, so holding down back in that situation, to forward plus assist when there was a gap. I'll show you guys again. Alright, so we have the virtual controller and then we have the input history. So I'm going to block away on the string, and we held forward and we called an assist. We got a guard cancel. Obviously there can be some confusion as well with some button inputs. I know sometimes people will try to reflect and then call an assist and sometimes get guard cancel. So much like Vanish or Reflect, this can be baited and punished. And pretty much the way to bait is to actually guard the guard cancel. So we hit the enemy, guard canceled out. All we have to do is guard the guard cancel, and we get a full punish if we actually hit. I actually kind of slid right under him. So hit him, guard, and then we get a little bit of a punish. The enemy was set to guard all, so theoretically we should have guarded that, but there was a big enough opening in that guard cancel because I blocked the guard cancel that it could be punished. Goku's a bit of a better example of this. And if we punish the guard cancel, we get a full combo. And just like that, that's pretty good right there. I know some people will try to bait guard cancel into TOD or touch of death combos. That's very possible as well. So not exactly a touch of death combo, but it was quite a bit of damage. So obviously that's an example of how something like these options that are defensive can be baited and punished. So if you're kind of having a hard time dealing with your opponent's pressure and you need an out right now, sparking is an option. It is a pretty good option. It's, because of Season 3, become more of a get-off-me tool than anything else. Versus like a comeback tool like how it was. It's still a comeback tool, very much so, but it's kind of good used anywhere now. Wherever you feel most comfortable with using sparking, there are a lot of elements to sparking, so I'm not going to be going into those right now, but it is a good defensive option. So let's say Krillin's pressuring me in the corner, I'm tired of guarding, I can just spark to get out. I just broke his block string. Another option, as I said prior, is we'll have Krillin do something a bit different. So we'll have him do, I don't know, light overhead. Reflect comes in a good place where essentially there's a gap in the string and you're trying to get someone off you. So if it's a true block string, and let's say Krillin just mashes square, the reflect won't come out. But if you know there's a gap coming, like a 6M or an overhead universally, that gap will be there, you can reflect that. So I'm going to give an example of that. I reflected the string because it wasn't true. The same can be said about certain gaps. Alright, so I recorded a new string for me to try to reflect, and let's see what happens. Okay, the string is true, so it's not going to be reflected. You saw it was a closed gap. He was mashing it pretty fast, so it was a true string. I can't reflect there. If your opponent chooses to do something else, like another gap is open, like a beam maybe, that I believe can be reflected. Same thing if your opponent tries to vanish after, that can be reflected. That vanish can be reflected. You have these options. So reflect is a big one. Just don't spam it because it can be punished with Dragon Rush. So you saw there was a slight gap there between that beam. That beam can very much be reflected. So I'm going to play that back. I mash reflect. I reflected the beam. And the next one is vanish. Vanish is, you know, pretty good. It's very spammable, so don't kind of fall prey to that. Kind of punish your opponents for vanishing, don't get punished by vanishing. So I'm going to give you guys an example of punishing vanish. Vanish comes out in strings that are not true, but they can be baited as well. So an example of that would be something like the string we just recorded actually. The string isn't true, so it can be reflected, but if you try to match something like vanish, vanish can be baited by the same string. So let's give an example of that. So I tried my hardest to match vanish there, it didn't come out. Because I was trying something there, and there was a gap, but the gap wasn't big enough to actually get my vanish out. I got punished for it. So talking a little bit about sparking is very unique. There's a lot to this, so much so that I honestly couldn't even tell you. Vanish can be cancelled by holding vanish and you won't do anything. You can do things like empty vanish and do some baits if your opponent reflects. There's so much to this move that I could not even begin to tell you everything that there is. But you do get some combo extension, you get some extra air options as well. I could do something crazy like vanish behind my opponent, cancel the vanish, and dash forward. It's nuts. There's so much to this move that, like I said, I'm not even going to go into it. That's pretty much all I have time for, though, because I do have to get a video up. But I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you guys want to see more, check out the rest of the channel. In the description, there's links to my main channel and my Twitch as well. Yeah, a lot of content, guys. Check it out. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace.